Shoot, Jack.
All right, Jackson, what did it take to get this done as quick as it did?
Well, pretty quickly. I think both sides were looking at long-term deals, and I think it came together pretty quickly. I think what we're all trying to gauge is the landscape, where salaries and that sort of thing are going. So I feel really comfortable, with the contract and the character of Jackson LaCombe, and the player, and I still think there's still lots of upside and growth in his game yet. I think the best is to come from Jackson. So it's exciting for the organization to get Jackson under contract for long term.
When we had talked, previously when we were going through the McTavish stuff, you had said that you guys were working on kind of taking these things around earlier.
We're dealing. Like I said, I was going to start to try and get some work ahead of this stuff, and obviously Jackson's, the first domino to fall. But we're working on other stuff as well. So we'll see what happens. As last week, things can change pretty quickly. So we'll just keep getting after it.
What gives you the confidence to make Jackson the first one out of the gate with this?
Well, I've been watching Jackson for a long time. I've watched his, all of his college career, and then, watched his first year here, and then, how he really transitioned. And I think I noticed a big difference after his first year coming into training camp last year, the growth in him, and then I just saw it, and then his world championships took off, and now he's on the radar to make the Olympic team. There's just a lot of positives, and then his training camp here, watching him in the games. I mean, he's going to be an outstanding defenseman for us.
Compared to negotiations in the past, like Mason's, for example, how did these differ?
They're different circumstances. All the circumstances are different, so every negotiation's different. You're dealing with different pressures, different variables. So this one was different, and so it was nice for it to come together quickly.
Why did it make sense to get this done now as opposed to maybe during the season?
Well, when you can try and get stuff knocked off the plate, we knew we were going to try and go after, try and get some deals done. So Jackson's camp just decided it was a good time to do it. So we agreed. So that's why we're here.
You mentioned Jackson's camp saying this was a good time to do it. When we talked to Mason last week, he kind of said that some of the ball was in his court when it came to signing that. How much of this getting done quickly was from Jackson's side of things?
Obviously, you need two sides to agree on something, and I think that I think the players are viewing what's going on here. They're excited and they want to be a part of it, and so sometimes when you get $72 million, it's a good reason to sign.
How many guys do you put into the category as core pieces? Just the number of guys nowadays. It used to be 5 people talking about.
No, we consider our core bigger than that. Probably look at 7 or 8 guys. That what I would target as our primary core guys.
Did any of the other deals that kind of went down during the week, whether it was Mason or Luke Hughes, did any of that kind of play into getting this done quick?
No, because that was that didn't have any bearing on it. I think that it certainly we've been working on it for a little bit, and it just things happen when they happen. It's like I said before with Mason, things all of a sudden they come to a head and things get finished.
Is there any anticipation that you'll be able to get some of these other ones done quicker?
Well, it's hard to say. We'll have some talks, but I'm not sure at this point, where any of this will go. It might have to wait till after the season. So, and then we'll try and pick it up from there. So it's hard to say.
With how tightly compact the schedule is this year, does that make it harder to try to negotiate something during the season than it would in years past?
Not really. I don't think that has really any bearing on it. The agents are always available, and most of the time I'm available to talk, and we can hash things out. So not really with the schedule. it's just going to be, a lot of times it's just whether the preference of whether the player wants to wait till the season's over to do this and not get distracted by it, or some players it doesn't bother them and they can kind of continue to work through, some of this stuff. So a lot of times it's, the players' camp will kind of dictate that if they want to talk or if they want to wait.
And then when it comes to the actual details of the contracts, not the money or necessarily here, but when it comes to setting those bars, those kind of benchmarks for what the rest of the structure is going to be like, do you see that with Mason? Do you see that with Jackson as sort of baselines?
What do you mean the structure? What are you talking about?
In terms of like money or years or things like that?
No, I don't really look at it at that way. You're asking me if there's like caps based on the certain players, or what?
No, I mean, like, if you look at the forwards right now, Mason, Terry, and Granlund are all making the same amount.
Right.
Is that sort of like you put a ceiling on those things?
Not really. No, I think when you look at like I said, every negotiation is different. Every player, they all have different stats. There's different variables. So the market sometimes dictates different numbers too. So it's like you have to deal with all of it, and you have to deal with it obviously within your team structure, but you also have to deal with outside pressures too. So there's a lot that you can you have to work through to kind of get a deal done.
And then are there any trade clauses or anything attached to the Jackson deal?
There's modified trade clauses in there. As usual.
Leading up to today, how long were you and Pat Verbeek in discussions for this whole thing?
I really don't like to talk about that, but it came together pretty quick.
All right, Jackson, congratulations on the deal.
Thank you.
How did this get done so quick?
Yeah, I think it all kind of happened in the last week and a half. It went pretty smooth. Obviously, we're both willing to get something done, and we got to a number we're comfortable with, and so I'm just super excited to get it done.
Was it important to you to kind of get this done going into the season rather than let it kind of hang over?
For sure. I think for me, I just like to be comfortable, and obviously it's a great deal, and I'm really excited about it. But I'm really happy to get it done, and I don't have to kind of worry about that going through the season. So I'm really happy.
Did seeing the negotiations with Mason or Trevor before that kind of play into you wanted to get this done quick?
A little bit, yeah, for sure. I think obviously Maxey was a priority to get him here and get him signed, and then I think once they got that done, just started to pick up, and it went really well.
Some guys like to be more involved, some guys not so much in negotiations. How involved were you with talking with Pat and trying to get things worked out? Yeah,
obviously most of the time it's just kind of the agents and Pat kind of talking. Obviously you talk with your agent and kind of decide what you want to do and what it would look like, and both sides were really cooperative, and it went really easy, and I was happy about that, so I'm just really excited.
For the term 8 years, the max, why did it make sense to go all the way for this commitment?
Yeah, obviously I love it here. I love being here. I love playing here. I love all my teammates here too. So for me, it was an easy decision, and I'm just not going to look back. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just really happy.
What makes you so comfortable here? What kind of made you so willing to do that?
Yeah, it's easy to live here. Obviously, you could say the weather and the place is so nice, but I think just the group we have has been, great for me. Obviously, everyone's been so welcoming, and it's helped me out a lot the last 2 years. So, I'm really, grateful for that, and so I appreciate that, and I'm just excited to be with them for a long time.
You've had kind of not a quick rise necessarily, but it really took off for you last year. Were you kind of, I don't know, how much has this been kind of a whirlwind for you to kind of go through what you've gone through?
For sure. Yeah, I think it all happened pretty quick. Like you said, obviously my first year was definitely tougher. I thought last year I played a lot better, and I was happy about that. And, like you said, to get it done now is great. I was looking forward to that, and, it happened, so I'm really grateful.
How many of the guys already asked for dinner today?
A lot of them. Obviously, they got a list of stuff they want to get. Hopefully I'll be nice to them, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, between you and Mason, I think everybody will be taken care of.
Yeah, I think so for sure. So we're happy to do it. Sure.
Looking ahead, you were at the USA selection camp this past summer, and obviously Olympics are coming up. I'm sure that's something that you're kind of looking towards and hoping you have a good season, being in position to be selected for that.
For sure. I think everyone obviously wants to make it, wants to play, wants to compete there. So I'm just going to do the best I can and focus on the now. And, obviously a great group at the Four Nations, and there's so many good players that can make it. So I think we're all just going to play our best, and then whatever happens. But I'm just looking forward to get going with these guys, and so I'm really excited.
As the course of this camp has gone on, how have you kind of felt more? How have you changed your opinion of how this team is with camp?
Honestly, not really. I think we made so much progress, and coming into the season, I knew we were going to make a big jump, and I have confidence we're going to do that. Obviously, our guys look great, and everyone's excited to get going. And great to have Q here. So, yeah, we're all just looking forward to it, and I don't think any of us are surprised on what we look like and what we can do.
You wore a letter in one of the preseason games. Where do you see your role as a leader kind of growing as, you're here for the long run, so where do you see your role as a leader kind of heading into the future?
Yeah, obviously, trying to do the best I can to help my teammates, and obviously I'm still, pretty young and still learning a lot, so I'm just going to, continue to grow and, slowly just kind of work myself into that role if I can, and, just do the best I can.